My name's Patrick. I run the marketing department here at Art Storefronts and been doing that for almost 7 years now, I think, or close to 7 years. And that means I've spent the last 7 years trying to solve the same problem you guys all are, right? Which is, either going from hobbyist, where you have a business, you don't have a business, you have a hobby that you enjoy, but you would like to turn it into a business, to some of you guys have a little bit of a business going on, but you'd prefer it to enter into the realm of side hustle and provide some income. Some of you guys have a decent business. You'd like to make it even bigger. But let me tell you, selling art and photography is not like selling other items online and off, right? It is a extremely nuanced and unique beast, both in the way that it is sold and especially in the way that it's marketed. In addition to working at this particular problem for a great number of years, I also host about 3 of these things a week, more or less, sometimes more than that with my customers. And I'd bring that up to say that week in, week out, I don't think there's a whole lot of people on this earth that talk to more artists and photographers than me. I've heard it all. I've seen it all. I'd bring that up to say, like, if you guys have got questions or things that you're stuck on, or you've got an issue with pricing, or you're trying to navigate a difficult gallery relationship, or niche selection, or brand, or what media types you should have, or anything like that in the stack, I can help you. I've answered it 1,000 times. I've seen the data. And as a final, we have 5,700 customers or so on Art Storefronts, and I study their data. My entire team digs into the data, and we look at, okay, well, who are the artists that are selling the most originals? And who are the artists that are selling the highest volume of originals? What about the highest price originals? What about commissions? What about prints, canvas prints, metal prints? Who's selling the most merch? And when you look at that in detail and then you sort of break it down under the lens of, okay, where are these sales coming from? Are they coming from their email list? Or are they coming to the website directly? Are they coming as a result of SEO, so Google Organic? Are they coming as a result of Facebook or Instagram? How often are these people running a sale? What are they doing on Facebook and Instagram? How many people are on their email list? How many Instagram followers, Facebook followers, YouTube subscribers? Excuse me. And you do that for any period of time, and it's awesome. It becomes profound because I sort of feel like, this industry is so chock full of people that are completely full of it. It is mind-boggling. And sort of the analogy that I like to give, it's like if we all of us lived in the same size town and there was only one bank in the town and I worked at the bank and your neighbor was out there driving a Mercedes and looking all flashy, and then I worked at the bank and I'm like, wait a minute, that person has 27 cents in their bank account. They are completely full of it, okay? The Mercedes is probably in someone else's name. Like, it's a weird analogy, but I sort of feel like now, as the years have gone by as a business at Art Storefronts, and we have so many artists, so many photographers, and so many different niches. I mean, artists of all stripes, selling all types of different items all over this country and others. And like when you really, really, truly study the data, you got to understand what is actually building a significant business rather than all the nonsense that I hear out there on a regular basis. People saying things that work, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I have 5,700 customers and that's not working for a single solitary one of them. You are lying. At least from the data set that I have. So anyway, I get fired up about that and passionate about that. But the last thing that I want anyone leaving this call doing is working on something that is not substantially growing businesses anywhere out here in this landscape. So, agenda for today. I'm going to go through a little presentation that sort of sits on top of everything that we do as a business. You can call it a premise. You can call it a way to look at this particular business, the business model that you need to focus on. This entire argument sits on top of everything that we do, and I think it's critically important. Whether you ever do business with us, to get this right, you fundamentally have to get this right if you want to build a business, a lasting business in which you control the rules. After that, we do, like, if you're interested and you're like, hey, these guys sound like they know what they're talking about, this is interesting, then we do the demo process. And the demo process is basically test driving the car. You get to drive the car, see all the bells, see all the whistles, play with the buttons, right? Talk to somebody. They'll look at your work, what you do, and it's a private Zoom session, and it's totally tailored to you, and it goes like an hour, and it shows all of our bells and whistles. But we can get more into that later. As the presentation rolls along, at the bottom of your Zoom window, there's a chat button. And so you can kind of hit that chat button. And if you feel like, hey, I've got a question, I want to get it off my head, you can type it out into the chat. And as soon as we get to the Q&A on the backside, I will answer that. Or if it's something that can be answered right away, my team will do that as we sort of roll along. And as a final, I'm going to be mentioning all kinds of reports and PDFs and links to things and videos and the like. And some of those I might throw links in the chat for you. But for everything else, as soon as the video's over, the session's over, the video of the entire session goes on a web page, and then all the links will be there. So don't feel like you have to write anything down or click anything. You can just wait until the email comes after the fact. So on that note, let's get into the presentation. I'm going to move myself over here, pull this thing up. So I wrap this whole thing in, and I call it the art selling pyramid, the art photography selling pyramid. And I really do believe that this is the path to a successful art business in 2021 and beyond. You have to get this right. If you get this right, you stand a chance of making it. If not, it's like going into a fight with one arm tied behind your back. And why is it a pyramid? I stole it from Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with this thing, but the idea is that you have to sort the bottom blocks and then you can sort the top blocks, right? Maslow's case, the bottom one, you have to eat, you have to sleep, quotidian need, you got to do that daily. You start sorting that, you can deal with safeties, you know, lifting weights apparently, and getting fit and having a bag of money. But anyway, the point is that you got to sort the bottom blocks before you sort the next blocks up. So the bottom block of the art selling pyramid is attention. And this one can't be underscored enough. And yes, Mark, I will make you a gin and tonic while you listen. And I love that question. It's not too early. It's got to be 5 o'clock somewhere. Attention, you guys, is the currency of the land that we live in. Every single solitary person on this Zoom call needs more of it. You need more eyeballs to look at your art or photography if you even stand a chance of selling it. And there's a couple of different ways that I spin this, but no different than Maslow's needs, the physiological needs of eating and sleeping and needing to do that daily. We all have to work on getting more attention daily, which means we all have to work on our marketing consistently, which absolutely none of you are doing, right? No one ever does it. This is the biggest problem with artists and photographers. None of you guys ever market consistently. And apologies, I'm on a call. I have 2 sick kids home today. Anyway, currency of the land. And, you know, I mentioned that I have a ton of data and that I've been doing this for a long time, and I would love to sit here and tell you that how big your business grows or goes is a meritocracy on how good your work is. It's not. The best art, the best photography does not win. The best art or photography that gets seen wins. It is the size of successful art or photography businesses in today's day and age is absolutely a meritocracy on the marketing before it is on the work, right? And, you know, I always say on these sessions, and I'm going to kill a small child, so give me a second. Stop. I am on a call. Stop it. Sorry. You run enough of these things happen, you kind of just laugh at yourself. Where was I? Oh, okay. Attention. So if I was to ask you this question, who are some of the most powerful women in the world? How would you answer that question? It's an open-ended question, right? Do you know who some of the most powerful women in the world are? The Kardashian-Jenner sisters. And let me tell you, okay, we can all make arguments, moral or otherwise, how these girls obtained the attention that they did, but what we cannot argue is the fact that they all have 5, 10, 15, 20, 50, $100 million a year businesses. I mean, one of them just started a tequila brand, and it's already like a $30 million a year business. She started it 6 months ago. And the point in bringing them up is that those gals, regardless of how you feel about them, understand the currency of the land that is an attention. And then really to bring it home, what I always say, if those gals decided to start painting stick figures tomorrow or decided to start taking photos with their iPhones, they would have a $10 million a year art business year one. Year one. And I won't be surprised if one of them starts to do it very soon, enterprising as they are. So, you know, it's just important that we all understand, you know, attention is the currency of the land. We all have to be working on it. I know none of you want to work on it. I know nobody wants to do it consistently. I know you have to learn how to do it first, but it is that important. The next part of the pyramid has an outer rung and an inner rung, okay? The outer rung is the business model that you guys need to understand if you want to be successful. And then number 2 is a collector list. And the business model is just succinctly this. You have to be selling direct. There can be no one in between you, okay, and the end consumer, right? You need to be selling direct such that you maintain the data on the end consumer, okay, such that you can market to them in perpetuity, and really so that you can build a collector list. Now, I borrowed the concept a number of years ago of the collector list from Weiland. He wrote this book, Don't Be a Starving Artist. It's an awesome book. I totally recommend you guys buy it. You have to order it from his website. It's not on Amazon, but Weiland, I don't know if you guys don't know who he is. You know, he's the whale guy. Number 1 best-selling artist in the United States. Apparently, it's not even close, which why you might want to pay attention to this guy. Very thin book, too. Thin chapters, and he knows what he's talking about. So he kind of planted this seed of the collector list in my mind a number of years ago. And when I first learned about it, I didn't have the data I have now. But for him, for Weiland, a collector, how he defines it, is anyone that purchases in upwards of 8+ pieces of work from him over the course of their lives. So he keeps painting, the years keep going by, they keep coming back and buying more and more and more and more art from him. And sometimes it's many more than 8 pieces. And in the book, he sort of talks about the tactical, how he sends them personalized Christmas cards, right? The same one that his family and friends get to his collectors. He follows them on Instagram and likes and comments on their Instagram posts and sends them DMs and sends them one-off emails. He treats these people like they're staying at the Four Seasons, okay? #1 best-selling artist in the United States. Why do you think? So when I first heard that, I was like, okay, that's super interesting. But since then, I've seen multiple of my customers take care of their collector lists, and I've seen the impact that it has on their business. And let me just tell you this. I would argue that the size and health of an artist or a photographer's collector list is either the #1 or #2 most important metric in their business. It is either the #1 or #2 most reflective of the revenue possibilities of that business, of what it's doing. And, what ends up happening is you come out with the new series, and it's going to have 10 pieces, and you're going to release it to the public on a Wednesday. On a Sunday, you email your collector list. Hello, patrons. I love you guys. I totally appreciate your support. Just wanted to let you know I'm coming out with a brand new series. It's going to drop to the public on Wednesday. Obviously, because you guys have supported me in the past and I love you, you get the first look. Here's a link. Really hope you're well, right? And you send the link of the show that's going to drop on Wednesday, or of the new collection or new pieces or new photos, to them. And what ends up happening at first is it's some small percentage of the 10 pieces gets bought by your collectors. Maybe it's 1 and it's 10% or 2 and 20%. I've seen it go as high as 70% with some of our customers, meaning they came out with 10 pieces that they were going to release to the public on a Wednesday, and they emailed their collector list, and before the public even got to see it, 70% of them gone, just like that. And again, you drag this out, and it's like, you guys are all fundamentally, at the end of the day, solopreneurs, and you are all fundamentally, at the end of the day, commissioned salespeople. If you create work and you go out and pound the pavement and sell it, you get paid. If you don't, no guarantee of anything, right? But you're just a hobbyist at that point, nothing's selling. And when you have a collector list, you go from a commissioned salesperson to a commissioned salesperson with a base salary. You still have to go out and sell the work, but you get paid. Start small, 10 grand a year, 20 grand a year, 30 grand a year, 40 grand a year. You get paid just for creating. You get paid just for creating a new body of work. And that is how important a collector list is. It's fundamental to making it at this business. And, underscore what happened during COVID. And I guarantee you it's happened to a bunch of people on this call, in which you had great revenue sources going into COVID. Perhaps you had galleries, perhaps you had the show and fair circuit, but you did not have a collector list. You were not actively marketing. Boom, COVID hit. All those other things got yanked like the proverbial rug right out from underneath you. And what could you do? What did you have the opportunity to do? You had no one to market your art to. The revenue sources that were working instantaneously disappeared. And so you look at that, and I hope, if nothing else, it's like, okay, I get it. You're right. I do have to be selling direct. I do need to maintain the data on who is purchasing my work so that I can market to them in perpetuity. I do need to be building a collector list and everything else. And it's like, those that did pre-COVID absolutely had the best art selling year of their entire lives. Because what happened? We were all under lockdown, and everyone was in their home. As a result of that, the entire home decor segment, everything from putting pools in the backyard to remodeling the house to furniture to streaming equipment to office chairs, everything, art and photography included, exploded. And so you had all-time high demand for art, and then all of the venues in which you could buy art shrunk. Lots of the galleries were closed. No one could go in there, right? The show and fair circuit not happening. And so you had this huge delta for those that were taking care of business, right? And I'll talk. Stan's asking me about a collector list and how big it should be. I'll explain that in detail in the Q&A, and I love that question. So, okay, that's the outer portion. Once we get that sorted, there are 3 ways to sell art and photography. Only 3, okay? And every single solitary artist and photographer needs to understand the 3, needs to deploy the 3 when the circumstances call for it, when each is at its best, right? Best way, #1 way, you guys all know this, everyone knows this, trick question. It's in person, face-to-face, always has been, always will be. It's never going to change, okay? But what happens is, turns out we are all geographically fixed on this planet, right? We are all geographically fixed. We need to sleep. and we can't have 25 conversations at once. So our website solves for that, right? You need to have your art up on a website. The art needs to be able to transact, take credit cards, and ship to your customer, and handle all of those various different selling features. And it's critically important. Now, the third way, the newest way, the way the entire art buying world, art selling world, photography selling world is trying to figure out at once. To be honest with you, this is just the biggest trend in trends, period. And it's not just for art and photography, it's everyone. And it's via live video. And it's via live video, just like we're doing now, in either the one-to-one fashion or the one-to-many fashion. I'm going to start with the one-to-one. Let's say Alice here, I follow on Instagram, and I see one of Alice's most recent pieces, and I'm like, that's a really interesting piece. You know what? I'm remodeling a bathroom right now, and I go and grab my wife, and I go, check out this piece from Alice. It's sort of interesting. She's like, yeah, I wonder, I have questions. And so I send Alice a message, and I say, Alice, my wife and I had some questions about your latest piece. We just remodeled a bathroom. Do you think we could jump on a video session, a Zoom call, a FaceTime, a Hangouts, a Microsoft Teams, a webinar, whatever you use? And she's like, no problem, Patrick. Here's the date. Here's the time. So next thing you know, I'm in a Zoom call with Alice, and she's holding up the piece, and she's explaining to me the different sizes and the media types and what her inspiration was. And I'm getting to know Alice. My wife and I like her. Her dog comes busting in like my kid just did. And I was like, hey, I've got a dog too. We both got dogs. We're bonding on dogs. I have a relationship with her now, and I now purchase the art, okay? That is insanely powerful. Very, very few artists are doing it. How many of you guys have booked a video chat to sell art on a one-on-one fashion recently, right? Not that many have. Not that many people are figuring it out. But that's the one-to-one. Now let's get into the one-to-many. So hard to keep my hands in this thing. So the one-to-many is this concept of a live art show. And during the course of the pandemic, we sort of figured out how to do these and started testing like crazy. And this is my buddy. His name's Matthew Locka. The tank top shirt aside, somebody call the police. This guy's missing sleeves. But the shirt aside, he ran 2 of these shows. It was with excess inventory. He called it a basement sale. This one was on June 9th, and the other one was on, let's see, what was this one? May 22nd. So whatever, 15 days between the 2 of them. On these 2 sales that he ran in his garage basement, he's a painter customer. He lives in Laval, which is Quebec in Canada. He sold 62 pieces for a little bit over $30,000 Canadian in 15 days. And not only did he sell those pieces leaving his house, not only did he sell those pieces retaining the information on who made the purchases, not only did he sell those pieces without leaving his house, retaining the information, but not paying a gallery a commission, which is what this guy's traditionally done, is, the big dog and pony gallery shows that I'll show you in a minute. And we were like, whoa, those results are amazing. Now, he's holding numbers. He's streaming this to Instagram, to Facebook, and his YouTube all at the same time. These are older works. This is not even what his new stuff looks like. And, people were asking questions, and it was just phenomenally successful. And we're like, my job is as the guy who runs a marketing department here, is to constantly look for the new ways of selling art. And if there is something that's effective, immediately try and understand what it is and duplicate it. So after his show, we have just been on a tear running these things, one after another. This gal, her name's Meg Naffenberger. She is a painter from Kansas City. She was moving out of one studio and into another. And don't worry, I'm going to send you links to these things. You can watch them afterwards, and I want you to watch them. And so she was moving out of one studio into another. And you remember what I said about the book and the collector list? So in this show, Meg had something like 80 pieces in this thing. And she was going to run the live art show on a Wednesday. And a lot of them are smaller pieces, like color studies, sketches, and the like, right? Like not framed, like paper, out of her sketchbook, the whole thing. She emailed the whole thing to her collector list Sunday night. 46% of the show is purchased before it even ran on a Wednesday. And so in Meg's case, she sold something like 68 of the pieces for a little bit over $12,000 on her show. And these things are just remarkable because they're sales opportunities that are not tied to anything, right? Like maybe, let's say you guys are doing some decent marketing and you're running a Black Friday and a Cyber Monday and a Valentine's Day and a Mother's Day sale. Fantastic. Well, guess what this is? This is a sale for no reason whatsoever. It was Meg's moving sale. It wasn't tied to any date or anything else. But anyway, since then we've run one after another, different artists, different parts of the country, different niches. How do you promote the show? How do you advertise the show? How do you get butts in seats when you run it? Are butts in seats when you run it even important? Do you need to be wearing white gloves when you're doing it? No, you don't, but it adds an effect, right? We literally run hundreds and thousands. I mean, not thousands. Come on, that's not honest. But I run hundreds of them, and we've made a ton of advancements. And I'm going to talk back to this in a second, but this is absolutely full stop the future. There's no reason to turn that off. Of selling art and photography. Okay, I've never seen anything like this perform as well as this as I've ever seen. Not even close. The results are absolutely insane. Unless you think that we're the only ones doing it on the low end of the scale. This is, you guys don't have a lot of reports in your industry. This one is called the Art Market 2021. It's put out by Art Basel and UBS Global. I'm going to send you links. I think you should check it out. They have this cool like little website thing that they've created, key findings, but the topics on this thing are like the global art market, auction sales, dealer sales, art fairs and exhibitions, online sales. And as a disclaimer, these reports only interview the top 5% of artists in the world. And so picture people making well over six figures a year all the way up to many millions a year. But just listen to this from 2020, okay, from the COVID times. And I quote, Chapter 5 looks at the online art market and the rapid evolution in sales in 2021. The chapter shows how the dealer sector shifted sales online in 2020 at the development of online viewing rooms, OVRs. You know what an OVR is? It is a snooty way of saying a Zoom call, okay? It is a Zoom call, no different than what you're on right now. On one side of the Zoom call is either the artist agent, the gallery, and on the other side is the high net worth individual, okay? And they are sold art. And it goes on to talk about how at the very top of the market, all throughout COVID, the one-on-one, okay, video selling, or whatever you want to call it, live video commerce was tremendous for them. For us, on the smaller scale of things, you guys, I've never seen anything like this. And I've run so many of these things this time, and just to kind of like spin your head around on it, like it doesn't necessarily just need to be a live art show, right? Like this guy had a show, same guy, Matthew, my buddy, had a show in the middle of COVID, and the gallery was like, look, we can run this thing, social distancing, masks, not that many people can come in. This would have been in July. Was it in July? When was it? July 24th, 2020. So a little bit over a year ago. And the show happened, by the way, collector list, bought a good portion of the show before it even started, just to be redundant on that point. But this is an actual show hung in an actual gallery, okay? And the show happened the night previous, the next day. We ran a live broadcast, and he walked through the show, no different than somebody that would have walked right in. He's there like it's opening night. People are asking questions. You can see the works. You can see the red stickers that are put on the pieces. And by the way, again, this guy's not wearing any sleeves. I got to talk to him about this. I got to buy him some sleeves for Christmas. But, no fancy camera equipment, okay? Okay, it was just a phone, AirPods, and his Mac laptop. And like the gallery owner's daughter was walking around, okay? And this is like an old bank that was turned into a gallery, so it's like a bank from the 1800s. Audio in here was terrible. The sound was pinging off the walls and everywhere. Didn't matter. Still insanely effective. It really felt like you were at the show with him, and he was explaining all the detail, like no different than he would have at opening night, right? Like people were having conversations, and then yes, more art sold. Some of the art that didn't sell during the show sold during this. Now, sort of sucked for him because he had to pay the 50-50 split and give the information to the gallery owner, but still, the point remains, like this is the future of selling art or photography, full stop. It's not even close. And one of the things as practitioners that we do so many of these, and I'll use one more funny example that I always like to highlight here. Same guy. I've probably run like 20 of them with this guy at this point. What do you notice about this particular one? Okay. You notice anything? Quality is crappy. You want to know why the quality is crappy? Because his significant other is upstairs streaming Netflix while his show is going on. So you learn things. Don't do that. No one else can be doing it. You can't give your kids iPads and let them watch their cartoons when you're trying to run a doggone live art show, right? So you figure these things out. Just to tease one of my favorite features, you run these things for any period of time and you realize like, okay, let's just say that you have a phone or you have a computer and you're going to run a live art show. And where is the work going to be? How are you going to take payment? How are you going to make that really, really easy? What happens when two people want the same work at the same time? How do you create a little war there, right? So this is one of our newest features. We're just about to release it, and I designed this thing myself, and you'll notice there's no header. There's nowhere to click. It's all about the show. You put the logo in, the name of the sale. Now, this guy's sale already ran, right? And so this is the video after the fact, okay? So his is already done. This is the guy, Rob Shanahan, is a customer of ours. Love this dude to death. Rock photographer. He's just super cool. I'm going to send this to you after the fact. But this is our newest page, and I love this thing because you can see what happens is that from the time that you go to create this page until you're done, it takes 2 seconds. You take the entire book of images. And by the way, do you see how they're all small? These could all be iPhone shots if you were so inclined. These are the pieces that he had in his show, right? And you take the entire folder, you drop it on this web page, it instantaneously creates a grid, you number each one, you price each one, you size each one, you put a description on each one. It's there, it's done. And then as the show is rolling along, this is the link that you send everybody, right? And if somebody clicks the buy now button, a little side cart pops out. Very, very easy to pay. They can use Google Pay, Apple Pay, whatever. And boom, once the transaction's done, it instantaneously goes to sold. So what I love about this is that, you know, assuming you send your live art show to your collector list, and in his case, these were like stuff that he had laying around, and a couple of them, the frames had dings in them or whatever, so they're significantly cheaper than what he normally does. Great photographer, this guy. He's got access like I don't even understand, like, you know, the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. He's like everybody's best friend. Anyway, the point is, people come to this thing and they see the sold everywhere, right? Sold, 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 and the FOMO, the fear of missing out, is real. So anyway, I love that feature. We can go more into depth on that later. But that's the selling art via live shows, and I'm not kidding. I've been doing this for a long time. I've never seen anything like this. I routinely have customers that in one event, one sales event, okay, one live art show event, and there's kind of like some tactical to it. Out of the last 10 that did it, various different sizes, big ones, small ones, bigger customers, smaller customers, huge social following, smaller social following. 7 out of the 10 sold more in the one show than they did in 6 months of regular marketing and sales. And I've never seen anything like that. I'm not kidding. And by the way, it's not a sales pitch. You could run one without us tomorrow, and you'll probably get the same kind of results. That's how profound they are. So finish off the pyramid. Top rung of the pyramid is everything else. You are working on attention. You are doing so in a quotidian fashion. It's daily, right? You understand the business model. You are building and nurturing a collector list. You understand the 3 ways to sell art, and you're applying them when it's applicable. The top is everything else, okay? If you've got any other revenue sources, retail galleries, online galleries, I don't care if it's Saatchi or Redbubble or Fine Art America or Etsy or eBay or whatever, or if it's the local one in your town or somewhere else, fantastic. I love that, but it's got to be in addition to everything else. It's got to be the gravy on top of everything else. Show and Thayer circuit, all of that. You do that, you understand this pyramid, okay, and then you chalk in a little thing called perspective, and you realize you have a lot of time to get this right. I routinely, on these calls, okay, I run into 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds, 80-year-olds, and I get at least 3 or 4 90-year-olds on a monthly basis on these calls. What does that tell me? You guys all have several decades left to sell your art, okay, to sell your photography. So if you get the business model right, you know, it's important to have the perspective of how much time you have to get this right. Even if up till now, you haven't kept a single solitary record on anyone that's purchased your art. Yeah, that was a bad move, okay, but that was the way it was done back then, right? Now is the time to change, and you've got time to change. You've got time to get this right. And the perspective is so important. The perspective is so important because, you know, what do I see all the time? Artists that never do any marketing, period, of course. Artists that treat their marketing like a gym membership. This is going to be my year, right? You sign up for the gym in January, and then February 15th rolls along, and you're not barely going at all, right? Like most artists approach their marketing, and it just goes time and time again. My point in bringing all that up in the perspective, especially, is 1, you need to learn how to market. That's what we teach. 2, you have to do so consistently all year long. If you can get past that, you're going to win. That's the good news. The bad news is first year sucks. First year sucks, okay? Most of you have no idea how to market at all. You're not capturing emails. You're not emailing those emails. You're not posting regularly to the socials. You don't understand the concept of omni-channel marketing, in which your message dovetails the email, dovetails with the social post, dovetails with all the social posts, dovetails with any other broadcast channel that you might have, and how to amplify that. Most of you are not running the requisite number of sales in a given year. Even if you are running the sales, you don't even understand how a sale works. You don't know how to tease it. You don't know how to announce it. You don't know what to do during. You don't know how to extend it. You don't know how to think through the discounts. What's the best way to do it? What are the best subject lines? And so I bring all that up to say we don't sugarcoat things around here. Are we a fantastic business? Will we teach you to be great at marketing and actually grow your business? Yeah. Will the first year suck? Oh, you better believe it sucks. And depending on your technical level of acumen, it could suck way worse for some than others. But I don't know what the alternative is. I don't know how you make it in this business and really build a successful business if you don't get that pyramid right and you don't work on your marketing. And that's it. And please don't take that cynically, because that's what we offer. I don't care where you go or how you decide to do it. If you don't follow that pyramid, you do not control the rules. You can have the rug ripped out from underneath you at any point in time, and you are essentially, like, let's just say you stick with the gallery model or you stick with the online gallery, right? Like, you're essentially a tenant farmer. You're never going to own anything. You might get free room and board and some minimal salary, but you are a tenant farmer, and they can kick you off that land at any point in time, and you're not going to leave with anything except scars to show for it. So you've got to get it right. I believe that this industry is going through its Blockbuster Netflix moment. It's going through its Uber taxi cab moment. And that old damn exploitative 50-50 split, you don't get to keep your customer information. While it's that worked in the past, it's over. Those days are over. It is unnecessary, okay? You absolutely do not need to be dealing with this in the slightest anymore. You can go direct, and yes, you have to learn how to market. Yes, I know none of you want to learn how to market. Yes, I know marketing sucks, but you have to do it. If you do it, you stand a fantastic chance at building a real business and real lasting wealth. So that's what I would say. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. So we'll open it up to Q&A. If you are one of the brave ones, you can, that has your camera on, you can raise your hand. If you have a question, I'll know you have a question, unmute you, bring you on that way. If you don't want to turn your camera on, you don't have to turn your camera on. I hate being on the camera, okay? I hate it. So I understand that. You can ask via audio only if you like. You can throw the questions in the chat. At the very bottom of the Zoom bar, okay, there is a reactions button. If you have a question, that's the easiest way to raise your hand. If you just click that little reaction, it's like a little face with a plus mark. You can see, you click raise hand. Heather just did it. Thank you, Heather. That provides the easiest queue, and then I can just sort of go through the queue. If you're one of the ones that's watching on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, I see those questions. Sarah, I'll have somebody send you a message on how to get a demo. Yes, Jason was laughing at my kids breaking into the room. These things happen. But that's what we'll do. We'll go down the list, and you can ask me literally about anything, and I would, yeah, I'd love to answer. So let's get going. I'm going to start off with, I'll do a couple of the hand raises, and then I'll go back to the chat. So it's going to start off with Heather, then it's going to go David, and then it's going to go Sean. So Heather, you're up first. Uh-oh, Heather, I don't think you have. So Heather, you don't have a mic source. So I can see you, but I can't unmute you because it looks like you don't have a mic. So that could be a number of things. One, it could be your computer, and your computer doesn't have a microphone, period, in which case you might need to throw the question in the chat. But it could also be a scenario where, you know, like the number one tech advice of all tech advice, like I have to call and give my mom every time something's broken. Just restart the doggone thing. Restart it, Mom, will you, please? So that might work if you log out of the Zoom and come back in. But otherwise, I won't be able to hear you, Heather. Well, what social media sources do you recommend? Okay, so that's how Heather's asking. I'll answer that first, and then I'll move to the others. So, you know, it's not hyperbole, guys, when I say the 5,700 customers and I get to look at all their data, right? And what's interesting about looking at all their data is, you know, there's a ton of different ways to market your art out there. There's a ton of different sources. One of the beautiful things that I'm able to do, one of the most powerful things about our advice is what you can ignore rather than even what to do, right? And I can make these calls on what you could ignore because I don't see a single solitary customer we have making any money off of them. SEO, not happening. You can ignore it completely. Pinterest, I have never seen anyone turn dime off Pinterest. Stop it. You don't need to do that. So in terms of social marketing, we are very, very focused, okay? And there's a bunch of different places to go. If anyone else tries to tell me TikTok is selling art, I would like to fight them, okay? Gloves, pistols at dawn, because I've yet to see that either. Those are the types of calls that I make. And so also, just to finish this off for you, Heather, is everything that we do in marketing is it comes down to ROI, right? Return on investment. And so what we recommend are like, yeah, there's all these different places you can go and do things, but these are the ones that I'm seeing constantly turn into dollars. And so Facebook and Instagram right now, you have to be contrarian about it. They have all the attention. That's where we need to go. So those are the two big ones that we recommend. That's what I would say. All right, David, you're up next. And David, you'll still have to unmute. I'll let you know when you get it. Oh, doggone it. Okay. You had it. You had it. I just couldn't hear you. Let's try it again. Talk for a second. So what you got to do, David, is bottom left-hand corner, there's a little right up arrow. Yeah. You just switch your mic source. I don't think it has your headset. It probably has like whatever's on your computer. What I'll do, David, while you're playing with it is go on to the next one, and then I'm going to leave you unmuted. So if you get it and you talk, I'll be like, okay, you're up next. But yeah, I think it's not reading the headset. What it's likely done is locked into your computer one, so you got to just switch it. Okay, Sean, you are up next. Gotcha.
Hey.
Yep, gotcha.
All right, man. Hey, I like what you guys are doing.
Thanks.
Full history. In 2019, I did Art Basel, a satellite show. First time I ever sold anything.
Awesome.
And then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And my video stopped. You hear me?
Yeah. I stopped it because your connection is a little choppy, and I didn't want to. I want to focus on your audio. Yeah. So I stopped it.
Okay, so I'm a sculptor too. So, but it's kind of hard to sell online sculpture because people can't get like a size of how size your art is. But the online, like the sell would be something that would work where you're actually stand beside, and then people can see like the size, and you can explain everything about your sculpture and that. My question is, are you going to do maybe something for sculpture, like you could take like pictures of different angles and then put that into some sort of 3D modeling, like how to do with bikes, like online, cars and stuff.
Yep. Sure do. Yeah, we've talked about it. We haven't gotten all the way there yet, but one of the interesting things with sculpture is, and let me just prove the point. What is your starting piece? What's the price point? Your like lowest price point on your cheap pieces? What does it start at?
My lowest price is probably like $2,000, and then up to like 15.
Yeah. So, the dirty little secret about web sales, with a few exclusions, the minute that you get like above $1,000, you got to talk to somebody on the phone usually. That's just the long and the short of it. And so while our platform is not completely set up for sculptors, what I recommend 100% of the time, one, the fact that you're selling originals, you're not doing high volume, okay? Two, they're always going to want to talk to you before they purchase. And three, because you don't have high volume, the number one highest ROI thing you can do is get somebody on the phone to talk about your sculptures, right? So in your case, yes, you have to do all the marketing, but I would alter the commerce proposition slightly in the sense that, instead of a buy now button, I'd have book a call button. Straight up. And I would try to get as many conversations with valued people as possible. And guess what? Everyone would have a Zoom call. And guess what? You would be showing off the work and even better 3D every single solitary time, right? And because you guys, like, most sculptors, and you tell me if you fall outside of this, but it takes you a while to create a piece. You're not selling hundreds of them. You're selling very small volume, but high price points. Again, there's nothing better you could do than get on a Zoom call. I could judge the health and the size of your business by how many Zoom calls you're having a week with customers. Full stop.
It's exactly what you're saying right there. Like getting in front of the people, and like, because those art fairs are really great because you get the volume of the people. Like that one of those a week, I had eyes on it for a year's worth of eyes on my work in like a week. So a website would be like the next best thing, because these art fairs, you're talking $4,000 to $8,000 booth easily.
I know. With no guarantee of ROI. And I mean, let's just put all the elements. Yeah. let's put all the elements on the table. 1, the travel. 2, loading up the car. 3, on your feet for 8 hours a day. 4, staying in crappy motels, probably not exercising, probably eating crappy meals. Then you're driving home exhausted. And guess what? You could have turned the camera on from your studio 55 times for way cheaper, and you'd have more energy as a result of it in the time that you went to that show and back. Now, I still love the shows if they have a good sense of attention. But, you know, I've got a number of different customers that have built their entire business on the show and Thayer circuit. And I've like dove into all the various different elements of it. And I love them in terms of what they can do in terms of lead generation. And I've got some very specific strategies for what that looks like. You have to have a giveaway. It's a little bit harder with Sculpture. I can give you some ideas on that. You have to capture business cards. Then you offer a sale to everyone that came to the booth and didn't buy. And so I love it for those lead generation propositions, but man, the economics are not good on them. They are hit or miss. You have to do a whole bunch of them. It's like, you know, you can't just expect to do one show a year and that's your one arrow and you think you're going to fire and hit the bullseye every time. Not the way that it works, right? You're going to have to fire 20 of them. I don't think it's as efficient as it could be. That's what I think.
Exactly. And like even the art angle, the art news was telling exactly what you're saying. They're going to go more towards, they're talking like a Hong Kong show said about virtual like gallery owners. They'll have somebody else there, but they have a virtual gallery owner, like the iPad would pick up, and then they start talking about the pieces to people. And they were talking about VR, like gallery owners, like explaining the pieces. So yeah, the idea is going that way. And I think like your organization is already on that track already.
100%. 100%. And look, I've never seen results in my entire career of doing this, even being early on Facebook ads and other things like, you know, the concept of the live art show and just to find it, it's just selling via video, right? Like ideally, if you could see 50 people face to face on a weekly basis, you're winning, right? Well, none of us can do that. Yeah. So this concept of video is just fantastic, and I have the biggest laugh out of it, right? Because there are a lot of people that run around this industry and they profess to be this, that, and the other. I'm telling you, I'm a hardcore executioner, right? My fingernails are in the dirt, as dirty as you could possibly get, and I'm learning this. And one of my biggest laughs of this entire thing has been watching is, you know, and God love him for this, but all the shows and Thayers, right? Realizing that as a result of COVID, they were not going to open back up. And then realizing that, oh my gosh, we already have the booth deposits. How are we not going to lose them? Oh, I know what we're going to do. We're going to do a giant virtual show, right? And they call it like virtual art show or VR. What they don't understand is it is hard to run one of these for one person, okay? Do you have any idea the technical details that are involved in it, right? And they're going to put 30 people in a room and get a bunch of people there. It's like, give me a break. But, you know, they learn their lessons along the way. And it is the future. It is the future of selling art and photography and sculpture, full stop. It's not even close. And by the way, we're not the only ones figuring it out. Like anyone can go onto Amazon now and start their own QVC show. You grab whatever products you want on Amazon, you live stream it. They give you all the technology, all the tools, all the toys. Facebook is partnering initially with the makeup companies, and they're doing live stream shows where you can buy the makeup right there from the stream. One click button, your Facebook credit card is already there, boom. The entire world is figuring out. There is not a VC, a venture capitalist, the ones that write all the checks for the tech investments in the Valley right now that does not have some sort of video-first commerce investment in their portfolio. And so the writing on the wall is just insanely clear about it, and we are all in. We are all in as a business. We're not going to stop because I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I'm definitely going to, once I get the finances here, I'm probably definitely going to hook up with you guys.
Yeah. And by the way, make sure, have you had a demo yet or no?
I haven't had a demo yet. I had one of the people call and talk to me about it, what was going on. Got it.
Yeah. The reason I bring it up is because I want you to see, we have this like augmented reality feature. And, you know, essentially the way that it works is they come to your website and they use their cell phone. No downloading any app or any of that nonsense. And what it does is it takes the 2D piece and the camera on your phone and it lets you see it. It lets you see the piece in like augmented reality. This video didn't work. I just want to show this briefly. The reason I'm bringing it up is because I actually think it's a pretty insanely effective tool to sell sculpture. Here it's working. I got it. Hold on. Product page in the web browser on an iPhone, and there is So the concept is they come to your website, right, with their phone, and it can be iPhone or Android. They're able to click on the item in your product on your store, right, and it could be a sculpture, it could be whatever, and it puts it in augmented reality on the phone, right, and so you can then project it onto a wall. And you're going to see here, so you see I can like move it around or whatever and size it. And so what it does, it helps with like consultative sales, right? Like, I don't know if this thing's going to work with my furniture or this, that, and the other. And so you explain to them this feature. But guess what? You could take the 2D sculpture and you could put it anywhere. You can put it on a pedestal. You can put it on top of the armoire or the nightstand or the stand that they have, and it helps visualize what the piece actually looks like in the room. So I think you should see that feature just so you can wrap your head around it, and it'll give you some more context.
Yeah, that definitely would work. I can see that working.
Yeah. It's a super cool way to do it.
Thanks, Patrick.
Yeah, my pleasure. You too, Sean. Okay, where did David go? I think he's got it. I'm unmuting you again, David. You just hit the mic icon and then.
All right, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, now we got it. Way to go.
Okay, great, thanks. So what does it cost to engage your services?
I can tell you that. I'm going to type one note. So we're like, the easiest way to try to understand what we do is like, we're two things, okay? We're no different than the rest of the website companies out there, right? Like there's a monthly fee for the website. And then we're different than everyone else because essentially what we are is we're a graduate university that teaches art and business finance and marketing, right? And there's no degrees because the learning never stops because the technology changed so doggone quick. So what you're paying for is a lifetime of marketing education and then the software to do everything else. The baseline plan that we have starts at $999 and I believe is $49 a month. And the one-time fee goes to pay for all the marketing support and the staff and the people on the Zoom calls and all the education and everything that we do, which is massive. I mean, when you see the demo, you'll see all the various different bells and whistles. It's more in depth than I want to go to in this session. But look, the reality is, and I say that none of you guys have a website problem. Many of you might think you have a website problem. None of you have a website problem. You all have a marketing problem. So if we want successful customers, we have to solve the marketing problem. And that's essentially why we exist. That's essentially why we charge what we charge.
Can I just ask, if I'm selling, if you're whatever, I'm with you and I'm selling stuff, and can it be integrated through like my Squarespace site with TaxJar and all that, collecting sales tax, or does it have to go through your platform?
It would be up to you, right? Like you could do it any which way you like, right? But what would end up happening is, like, let's say you wanted to keep your Squarespace site and you wanted to rely on us for all the marketing and education and not use our software, right? Our marketing software is like baked into the product pretty heavily, right? And I'll give you a for instance. We give it a snazzy term. It's called Art Buyer AI, right? And just think of an Apple store, right? And it's your Apple store, right? And what this software does is it's a little video camera. It's in the upper right-hand corner of the Apple store. And if I come into your Apple store and I pick up the iPhone and I look at it and I set it down, and then I pick up a MacBook Air and I look at it and I set it down, and then I pick up an iPad, I look at it, I set it down, I buy the iPhone and I leave, the software registers that, right? And instantaneously sends a little pop-up to your dashboard, and it'll go, David, Patrick just walked into your store. He picked up the iPhone, picked up the MacBook Air, picked up the iPad, bought the iPhone and left. And it'll instantaneously notify you that happened, and then pop up a little box that says, here's the email that we think you should send him right now. And the email will be pre-populated, and it'll say, hey, Patrick, thanks so much for buying the iPhone. I really appreciate your business. I can't wait to ship it to you. I couldn't help but notice that you also looked at the iPad and the MacBook Air. Just to let you know, we have a special first-time buyer discount and 3-item bundle that you could have potentially used on that. So if that's something that's interested for you, be happy to extend that either way, thanks to the business. And you can either edit that or send it, right? Squarespace is not going to do that for you, right? And there's like 5,500 other features that we have, not 5,500, but a lot. So yeah, I understand the sales tax and everything else. That's not an issue. We have systems for that too. But you could decide. You could go either way. What is that behind you? I mean, it looks awesome, but is that your work?
Yeah, this is work that I showed at a recent Saatchi art fair.
That's cool.
Thank you.
And they're not lights or anything. It's just the way that you wrap it and hang it.
They're sculptures. They're curved sculptures. So they're wall hangings that are actual sculptures.
Wow.
Like this.
Whoa.
The whole structure behind them.
Yeah. Wow. Unique. What do you start the price weights at?
1,500.
1,500. Yeah, cool. I dig them. And do you sell prints too, or you just do the sculptures?
I also sell prints. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we could definitely help you out.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And good work on the mic. We got it done, right? No matter what, we got it done. I like it. Yeah. All right, Reginald, you're up next.
Hey, how you doing, Pat?
Good. How you doing?
Doing well. I'm doing real good. I started my Facebook and my website, and that's coming out real good.
Okay.
Question for you today is storefront or your printer have any short videos, YouTube videos, to show my customer what they're buying? I noticed that y'all start prices out at $40, and you go all the way up to $600. I'm focusing on prints, so I don't want my customer to come disappointed if I send them a $40 8x11 copy page.
Yeah, so the pricing is determined by the store owner, and you can start with low end teaser prices, or you can price high. So how you want to price is completely up to you. But what we do is, depending on, and I'm pulling it up now so I can show you, depending on which individual media type that you're on. And here, I'll get myself out of the way here so I can show this. So you can see in this case, he's got watercolor paper. If you mouse over, what is watercolor paper? We have videos that, sorry, I clicked in the wrong spot. We have videos that show, this is just there for you. Why can't I do this? I'm losing my touchdown. Let me try this one. That show you in detail what each one looks like, right? Like, what's a canvas print look like? What's metal look like? And, I had to hire a guy that came to my garage, and it took him a week to do this. Every time I look at these things, it just makes me ache. His project was such a pain in the butt. But anyway, we've got these videos that show each one of the pieces. And then alternatively, one of the big print partners that we have, which is Bay Photo, their YouTube page is pretty insane. So sometimes you can send them, these videos, if you want to get a more in-depth idea of what a various different media type is, right? They do a pretty good job on their explanation.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Sounds good. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. No problem at all. Keep rolling.
Hey, thanks.
Thanks, Reginald. Okay, it's going to go Alice, then Leah. And if it's not Leah, you're going to have to correct me. Go ahead, Alice.
So I'm completely new. I've never sold before. I started art a little bit ways ago, and this year I'm really moving forward.
Okay.
I don't know what to price my work at. How does one know?
Yeah, so the nice thing about pricing, okay, is, as you roll along in this business, you always want to ask yourself, is this decision that I need to make, i.e. what to price my work at, is it a reversible decision or not? Meaning, if you decided to price your work at $500 a piece and you thought that was too high, and the next day you wanted to lower it down to $250 a piece, can you do that? Is the decision reversible? It is. It's insanely reversible. You could do it in 2 seconds, right? So you don't stress about it. You put your finger in the air, you choose a price, you start marketing, right? And once you start marketing, you're going to figure out. Some people are going to say, hey, I like this piece, but I don't like it at $500. And then you know what you say? No worries, make me an offer. And then you shut up and you see what they say, right? Ultimately you pick a price and you see if the work moves. What you're looking for early on is just to sell no matter what. And what you're looking for early on, if it doesn't sell, is instantaneously to get the feedback. Hey, you said you were interested in this. How much would you pay for it, right? So that's sort of the game to play early on. But you can raise or lower your prices at any point in time for any reason, and no one will know the difference. So the point is, don't stress about it. Set a price, try to sell it. And if they say, I like that, but it's too expensive, say, make me an offer. And that might be where your price needs to be.
And so through Art Storefront, do I have that ability to dialogue with folks?
Oh, of course. All day long. All right, wait, are you talking about dialogue with potential customers or dialogue with us in terms of support?
Both, actually.
Oh, yeah. So the support is insane. It's off the chain. If you go to our Facebook page and you read through all of our reviews, you will see more about how stellar our support is than anything else. So that's a given. But you have to understand, it's not hyperbole when I say we're an art business university. We run Zoom calls like this for our customers 2 days a week for life. You're in class. You're learning. We're teaching you the various different things, and no different than this session, you know, it then moves to Q&A, right? And you're not just going through it in a vacuum. Like, you're going through it with a bunch of people that the same people are week in, week out, so it ends up becoming like a family experience. Everyone supports each other. It's pretty awesome, actually. So yeah, that's part of what we do. Like, that sets us apart. Like, you need to be taught how to market. It needs to go week in, week out. Yes, you need to be told how to contemplate price, how to contemplate markups, what percentages are appropriate. We recommend 250% markup on prints. Why? Because you're going to be running a bunch of sales. And when you run a bunch of sales, I want you to be able to offer 20 or 30% off without losing your shirt, right? So we teach you all of those things and then some. Yeah. Have you attempted to sell any of the pieces yet?
No, I've posted a lot on my Facebook page. I've received a lot of reviews, and some have said they want to know if I'm selling it online somewhere. I don't have a store yet.
Yeah, we can definitely get you help get you set up there.
Yeah, I've already had it professionally scanned, and I have a local place here that can ship it, and I can just like sign it myself, you know, right before we ship it.
Yep. So you're dialed and ready to go. You just got to get it up on a website. And you know, the one thing about printing and why we do print on demand and why it's so important is I don't want you spending a minute going down to the printer. I don't want you spending a minute looking at a proof. I don't want you spending a minute driving to UPS or worrying about any of that or sending tracking numbers, because all of that is time you're not spending on your marketing. Right? And that's the long and the short why we do it that way. But yeah. We could definitely help you, and I'm stoked you got it professionally scanned. You're ready to roll. Yeah. Good. Any others? Did that answer it, Alice? Good. Yeah. Okay. You muted yourself too. I got it. Okay, Mark. I know you have a question as well. I will get you right after Leah or Leah. And you'll have to unmute, Leah. I see you're on the phone. It's a tiny little. Yep. Gotcha.
Leah.
Okay, I had it right first.
Okay. First of all, I find very, realistic all your program. I think that is like lifelong learning, something that is really, really realistic, and I like it. My question is, so do you do the prints? Do you do all that stuff?
Yeah. So what we do is we have two partners, one on the West Coast, one on the East Coast. And what our customers do is it's like a one-click integration with those folks. And once they're integrated, the way that it works is you sign up, you get a website, you're integrated with the printer. So an order will come through to your website. You get paid, printer gets paid. The printer prints the order, boxes it, puts your logo on the side of the box, ships it. You touch nothing. You don't have to do anything else at all. All of that is automated.
Exactly. Even the frames and everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you take some charge like Etsy store or something for our sold?
We do, depending on what plan you're on. I think at the high, it's like 15%. At the low, it's maybe 5%, which is a transaction fee. And I'm not sure what the differences are between what plan, but they can tell you about that on the demo.
Okay. Well, by now it's okay. I'm okay. Let other questions come.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for everything.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, who are you telling me? Oh, yeah, Mark. So it's going to go Mark, and then it'll go Stan, and then it'll go Anna. Where are you, Mark? Let me get you unmuted. Okay, Mark, you're up next. You'll have to unmute. I'll let you know when you get it. Are you there, Mark? Yeah, gotcha.
Yep, we're here.
Gotcha.
Patrick, I have 3 questions.
Shoot.
The first one has to do with your background. I don't see it there, but I'll be specific and you get a beef eater with that tonic.
Yes, done. Love it.
Second question.
You don't, wait. Let's just give that some. Do you really like the Beefeater gin? Is that your favorite one?
Beefeater and regular Bombay.
Yeah, classic. I don't know if you guys know the Beefeater gin, but it's like, the old English guards with like the big hats. Like, yeah. Anyway, I got a soft spot for that stuff. Not drinking it, by the way, but I have a soft spot for the bottle. Anyway, go ahead.
I use different social media right now to make sales, and what I do, I place my pictures. I've done Photoshop and put them on walls in a house, in bedrooms, in offices, things like that.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of space to do a video presentation, and I don't think the idea of making 15 prints to show on a video presentation, it may be a good idea, it may not. You probably know better.
Yep.
But could I start a video presentation where I'm there in person talking to people, and then bring up slides of my pictures that are both on a wall and the real picture, the real photo itself? I'm talking about photography.
Yeah.
So that's my question. Would that be a doable thing? And what do you think about that idea?
I'm gonna answer your question in two parts. I'm gonna start with the question. If I hired you to sell knives door to door for me, and you were gonna go up and knock on the door, what would you show up with?
A knife.
Yeah, not a picture of the knife. You'd have the knife, right? Because that's what people are buying. The good news, though, in all of this is there is a hybrid, okay? Now, I'm gonna go into show and tell mode here. I gotta go get my stack, so give me a second. You can do the hybrid mode, which is you could get yourself one small metal print, right? So that you can show off what a metal print looks like. This is the thing that actually goes on the wall. By the way, this is small for a reason, okay? You know, I said I've run hundreds of these. You learn lessons. Do you know how hard it is to show a giant thing like this on a little tiny webcam? It's hard, right? So you get these little small samples, and you can say, this is what a metal print looks like. And you can say, this is what an acrylic print looks like. Acrylic's one of my favorite mediums, and my green screen's going to make this thing look a little circusy. But here's what it looks like on the side. You know, it's thick. I sign it. Oh, gallery wrap. You've never seen a gallery wrap? Let me show you what a gallery wrap looks like, right? Edge-to-edge printing, ready to hang. So these are all tiny in size, right? And you can have the 5 primary media types, and then you can go to your 2D images. But let me tell you, they're not buying 2D images. They're buying these things that go on the wall. So you better be showing the thing that goes on the wall, right? And that's like a fundamental disconnect that you know, aside from like the painters, because of course they always have the original, is like, you know, I go on like Instagram account after Instagram account after Instagram account, and what is it? 2D image after 2D image after 2D image after 2D image. And, you know, that's all well and good that you're doing that, but how many damn 2D images are we bombarded with on a day-to-day basis? Like, it is too many already, right? So you need a way to distinguish yourself and stand out in the work. I mean, you're doing the good stuff with at least photoshopping it in there, right? But what the piece that's missing is you holding it, because you're a part of the brand as much as the work is. So don't feel like you need the big space. Just order really small samples, right? You know, that entire stack, I have a fine art frame print. I've got the gallery wrap canvas. I've got the metal. I've got the acrylic, and I've got the wood. That whole thing costs like $155 because they're tiny sizes. Like, you can do that, right? You can do that. Show that.
Okay, not to disagree with you, but I sold encyclopedias door to door, and I never had an encyclopedia in my hands. But
Fair point.
anyway,
Fair point.
I totally agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, it's a different sale. It's a different sale.
Yeah,
though,
I
right?
know.
Yeah,
I'm only busting your chops.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
My
No,
other
no one ever
question
pushes back.
The vendor that you use, and I use Bay Photo right now, and I like them a lot. So
Yeah, we do too. They're great.
Now Bay Photo, when they ship a print, they do drop shipping and white label. You just mentioned a box with my logo on it. How does that work?
We worked that out with Bay. It's pretty cool. It's a sticker, your logo, boom. They put it on the side, off it goes. Both of them do, whether it's Bay or Graphic Dimension. So yeah. Okay,
and they right now Bay Photo charges a nice piece of change for drop shipping.
Not with us.
So I assume it would be approximately the same.
No, not with us. We get special deals, obviously, because we're a volume customer.
Okay, all right, good. Thank you for the answers. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay, up next is Stan. Go ahead, Stan.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Roll Tide from Alabama. Just so you know where we're at. Got several questions. Let me see if I can get those real quick.
And it's a little hard to hear you. I think I can roll with it, but I don't know if your computer's picking up the headset mic or if it's using your yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be picking up the headset mic. Is that better?
I don't think it is picking up that. I think it's picking up the computer one. But anyway, just keep rolling with it. And we'll see how we do.
Okay, so better?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Better?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you talked early on about building a buyer's list or collector's list. How do you do that, and what's the quickest way to do that?
Yeah, I love that. So it's a chicken and the egg situation early on, right? And so the way that it works is you kind of have to fake it till you make it early on. So at first, your collector list is just your email list. That's it. Anyone that's on your email list, right? And what would end up happening, and let me just give you the why everyone can do this tomorrow, because we all have our mother's email on our list, right? Unless she's no longer with us. And if we don't have our mother, we have our grandkids or someone on our list, right? So the idea is that, you know, fundamentally underpinning the entire collector list is making them feel like VIPs. Everyone likes to feel like a VIP. So what we see happen is you have 10 people on your email list, right? That's technically your collector list. Yes, I know they haven't bought anything, but that's technically your collector list, right? So you're going to release your pieces to the public on a Wednesday. Just treat your email list like the collector list and send them all on a Sunday, right? And just say, hey guys, you know, because you're on my email list, and then all the usual language, right? And then, you know, does the email list know that you don't have a public that's going to see the work on Wednesday because they are the public? No, they don't need to know that, okay? This is a charcoal gray area. We're coloring outside the lens. So that's how it goes early on, and you kind of just, you know, you kind of just need to fake it until you make it. But, you know, what's so funny is that's how it starts, and it makes things a little bit easier earlier on, right? Then, you know, the minute that one person buys one, then instantaneously they're on the collector list and they get all the special treatment, right? But, you know, what you might do is, like, let's say a year goes by and you've had 5 people that purchase. Now, when the new series comes out, you still do the email list section, but for those 5 collectors, you get your phone and you record a customized video for each one of them. Hey Stan, how you doing? I saw that trip you had to Colorado, which looked incredible. You are one heck of a skier. Hey, just wanted to let you know I'm coming out with a brand new series. Because you've been a collector, you get a seat before everyone else. Send it to them on Saturday night. Send it to your email list on Sunday night, and then release everything on Wednesday, right? So that's kind of how you go. But we've got tactical all the way along.
Right. Hey, I love the idea of the live art show.
Yeah, phenomenal.
I really believe in video. I think video is the way to go. It makes people feel
100% it is. 100% it is.
Right. All right, but you were talking about how you guys run the live art show. You guys run that, facilitate that?
Yes. Yes.
How does that work?
So.
And how often should you do it, live art show?
Oh yeah, great questions both. So, and you guys probably, he's asking about live art shows. Are we the ones helping our customers when we do them, and how often do we do them? So, all good questions. Here's what I found early on. Turns out everyone's deathly afraid of being on video. No one likes it. Everybody's stressed about it. The hair, the makeup, the lighting, no one wants to do it. That's number 1. Number 2, artists and photographers suck at merchandising and selling. None of them want to do that. 3, none of them want to do any marketing, period. Okay. 4, they're all terrified of video. Did I mention that? 5, the technological hurdles of doing it are terrifying. So I started running them early on. And this is, like, no joke, my boots on the ground problem right now. And then I'm going to tell you the resolution. I realized that, like, I have to take the horse to water, right? Kicking and screaming in some cases. And so I was like, guys, I figured out the greatest thing in the history of mankind. Here is the step-by-step guide to how to do it. Go do it, right? And you know how many did it? Like 7 people, right? Because everyone's terrified and they're like, I can't do it. So I'm like, okay, got to do a new approach. So, you know, my entire marketing team, I got together. I was like, I don't care who it is. If you like somebody, reach out and tell them we'll help them. And the idea is just get as many. It's like the teach a man to fish parable, right? Like, feed a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, they fish for a lifetime. So what I found is that if we carry them over the line kicking and screaming by helping them, my customers, then the next one they do on their own, right? So that's how that's gone. You don't necessarily need the help. You know, for all of our customers, we have incredible tactical guides that go through every single solitary step of the process. But, you know, sometimes it helps to have a little push. Starting this week, I am no joke, running the biggest contest we've ever run as a business. And the contest is both for non-customers and customers, okay? Let me start with the customers. Guess what the contest is? All you have to do is run a live art show and send it to me. And for the customers, there's going to be big awards. For non-customers, I'm giving away 3 different art storefront subscriptions with different bells and whistles, and I'm literally launching that this week. And the idea is that all you have to do is run a live art show and send it to me. And oh, by the way, here is the quick launch guide on how you run a live art show. I am pushing so hard at this, I cannot even begin to tell you, okay? It is not hyperbole when I say I've never seen anything in marketing land ever produce the results that these things are. It's just phenomenal. And the way that I look at it is like the way that I tell my customers, like, you know, they go and they run the first one and they're so excited. They're like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. That was incredible. You know, my internet cut out. My husband walked in at the wrong point in time. You know, my dog was running around, whatever. And I'm like, fantastic. Now go run 1,000 of them, because this is what it is. It is the future, okay? It is the future, full stop. And I need everyone running as many as possible, because let me tell you, you know, you get to Carnegie Hall. Come on, Stan, you don't know. Practice is the joke. So that's how you get to Carnegie.
In Albuquerque, I don't know. I've never been to Carnegie Hall. So.
Yeah, I haven't either. I just know it's a line. Anyway, I'm just poking fun at you. So that's the bottom line. And it's like, you know, everyone's like, what would be the best analogy to give? Oh, I know. What's the best time to ride a bike? Where should I go to ride a bike for the first time? What kind of bike do I need to ride a bike for the first time? Yeah. Stan, take the bike out to the driveway, jump on it, and start pedaling, okay? Because you're going to fall on your face 5 times, and then we're going to take the training. Like, that's what it is. Like, save all those other problems for then, right? What tires do I need? What's the best pet? No. I just need you guys to ride a bike. Just pedal the bike for me. And then once we pedal the bike, we'll get going. So, yeah, that's how it is early on.
You got a link for, do you have a link for the contest?
TBD. I think it's going to be like either 3 weeks or a month. What happens is that the sales guys get really pissed off at me every time sorry, that was bad language, get upset with me every time, because they're like, hey, all these people were going to sign up, but now they're going to wait to sign up because they all think they're going to win the contest. And so I get yelled at. So I got to figure it out. But ideally, I'd like to do it for a month, because I literally want, like, it is my sincere wish, whether you ever sign up with Art Storefronts or not, that every one of you would be thinking about it and go and run one. Because let me tell you, after you do, it's just like, you're like, that wasn't that bad. I can totally do that. So that's what I'd say.
All right, and I apologize that my audio may not be the greatest in the world, but I've got 2 more questions if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
You talked about the base price of $9.99 down and $49 a month.
Yes.
That's basically an annual outlay of like $1,500. What is if that's the base rate? What are the other rates, and how different? So the $9.99 is just one-time fee. That's it. You never pay it again. It's like initiation into the university, so tuition into the university. You never pay it again. So then it's just a monthly. Yeah. It's a few more bells and whistles on the site, and then oftentimes what people will do is they'll bundle years to get a better deal, right? Like the 5-year deal, you get like a free year or something like that. So that's what the other ones are. They're bigger deals. But that's what they'll tell you on the demo too. They'll like explain all the ins and outs. They know better than me what the individual pricing on everything is. But yeah, it's straight up a one-time fee on the education, and you can upgrade or downgrade at any point in time too. All right. Question. I guess the whole $9.99 outlay would have to be done right away. There's no like 500 here and 500 there. No,
we did this new, like, you know, it's like the hottest thing in the internet world right now. Have you been to like an e-commerce store where they say like, split this thing up into 4 payments of such and such, right? So we did that same thing. We bolted that same thing, and you can do that if you want.
Okay, that's just easier. I've got 3 kids who are at school right now, so they're not making noise behind me. I do have a dog who's kind of expensive.
100%. Totally understand. And you know, we charge way more than anyone else. It's not even close, right? There's like so many other little websites out there that are like $29 a month or free or whatever. But you know, it is self-serving as it sounds. Like, if I don't have the resources to help you fix the marketing problem, you're never going to be successful, right? It's really what you're investing in is marketing training for life, and I can't underscore how important that is. Like, it's just massive. It is the differentiating factor between artists that are on the path, year-over-year growth, turning it into a real business, and those that aren't, and that's it.
And I guess some of the things you learn in marketing each can be used in other businesses you may run.
Oh, 100%. It'll spill over into every other area of your life where you're trying to get attention. There's no 2 ways about that.
Last question. A a lot of times numbering and signing your prints is
Yes.
a big thing, and it adds value to it. How would that work in this program?
So I should mention, we're not dictatorial. You can do things any which way you like. And what we sort of recommend for our customers is, one, offer a cheaper price for ones that are not signed. And then two, charge more expensive prices for the ones that are signed. The ones that are signed, instead of shipping to the customer, you're gonna reroute the order directly to you. You're gonna gently take it out of the packaging, sign it, number it, put it right back into their packaging, and then you're gonna have to ship it off to the customer. So it's an additional step, but that's how we advise most of our customers to do it. But we have everything. We have a mixed bag. And you know what you find? Some people could care less whether or not the art is signed. They just want the cheapest price they can get, right? So I like it in those senses to have the product for them. And then some people are totally fine with the digital signature. They don't care, right? And then, it sort of makes the signature and elevates it. Like, maybe on your open edition prints, then everything in your open edition prints is digitally signed. And then maybe on your limited edition prints, everything is hand signed. Well, guess what? The limited edition prints are $750 to $1,000 more than your open edition, right? So people understand the perceived value with it. But you're free to experiment whatever you like. We just make sort of the recommendations, and it goes from there.
Hey, I appreciate you answering the questions. And again, I'm sorry about the audio. I guess I need to invest in a better audio.
Yeah, I think you just have the wrong something's wrong with it, because even if it was a headset, I'd be able to hear you better. It's either something's weird with the headset, or you have the wrong source selected or something, or do the standard issue restart. You never know. Yeah. But thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Okay, it's gonna go Anna next, and then looks like I'll get some of the questions in the chat too. But go ahead, Anna. And I'll let you know when you get the mic, Anna. You still gotta. Yep, gotcha.
Well, it sounds like, you're the first thing I'm listening to. I saw some of your emails, and some of them I didn't get a chance to read all the way through.
Well, that's because we send entirely too many of them. Long? We send hundreds of them. There's no way you could read them all.
Okay. Was there a video that was an hour and a half, or is that maybe it was a minute and a half? I thought it was an hour and a half.
I don't know. If it's an hour and a half, it was probably just a replay of one of these. We send these sometimes. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm terrible at marketing.
Oh, and you're the one. You're the one. Anna, trust me, you've got plenty of company. Yeah.
Yes. And to me, it sounds like a lot of work.
It is. It is.
And I'm wondering if I'm going to have time to do my work.
You will.
You will.
Yeah.
Okay.
You will.
I have a lot to learn.
Yes.
Obviously. So, okay. I have a website, but I was going to revamp it. Do you guys help with that?
No. So you would get a website with us. It's not revamping. Like, we give you one. So you would just use ours, and you don't have to revamp the old one at all, which, let's be honest, is not working for you anyway, right?
Right. But
yeah.
Okay. So in other words, I'd send you my website, and you could take it and do something with it.
Well, we don't do anything with it. You build one with us, and then that becomes your website. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Yeah.
And then my things are made out of clay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they're like one of a kind.
Mm-hmm.
But so how would the shipping work?
Well, until we figure out some sort of drone and or teleportation device, you're going to have to do the shipping on those, because you're in possession of them, right? Yeah. There's no getting around that part of it. But again, do you know what the hardest thing to do is? Sell the work. Do you know what's the easiest thing to do? Everything else. Everything else, including the shipping. So don't today's problems for today, tomorrow's problems for tomorrow, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Anna. All right, Reginald's back for another bite at the apple. Go ahead, Reginald.
Pat, I'm sorry to follow up.
No worries. Go ahead. That's what this is for.
I did the demo. Can you go over the email collection? What email services do y'all use?
We pretty much have everyone use MailChimp because it's just really simple and the pricing's really good, and they have a great product too. So that's the one that we integrate with currently.
Okay, MailChimp. Mm-hmm. All right, I thought that was all right. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. And it's totally free too to start, which is awesome. I don't think they charge you until you get up to like 500, I think. Is it 500 or 1,000? I don't know. Somebody might need to tell me that, but yeah, that's how it works. It's pretty awesome. Okay, I'm going to try to go through the chat and get some of these other questions. Yeah, Laura's saying something about the Bay photo. Yeah, they're awesome, but we handle all the customer service. You don't have to deal with that in the slightest. So it's not like you have to like worry about getting on the phone with Bay. We take care of it for you. There was another question I feel like I missed. Did I miss it? I don't know. Sometimes I just miss these things. Well, if I missed your question, I'm sorry. Throw it back in the chat, or if you've got another one, you can certainly ask. But yeah, good session today, guys. I feel like that was a lot of fun. Really solid questions. If anyone else has got a final, I'll hang around for a second and do some just wrapped up remarks. Otherwise, we can call it a day on today's session. Huge week left. Oh yeah. So Joni's asking me about YouTube. So Joni, it's in terms of ROI, and Joni's asking like, hey, can we use YouTube as a selling tool? You can, but in terms of ROI, it's very hard to expect YouTube to bring new customers in for you. Really, what everyone uses YouTube for is a place to park their videos for free that can then be embedded on their webpage, and you might get some additional organic traffic. But I don't see many turning it into like a massive sales channel, which is not to say it can't be effective. It's certainly effective to grow your subscriber count on a YouTube channel to, to have a more popular streaming destination, right? Like, my one buddy here, I love showing this video because I think it's just like so captivating. So Matthew's got 9,400 subscribers, right? And it's like, wow, that's for an artist, that's like a lot, right? Like that's a massive amount. Well, the reason he's got 9,000 subscribers is because this video has 579,000 views on it. And do you know what it is? It's a video of him sketching out. Oh, I'm not showing it. Bonehead move that is. It's a video of him, live painting this thing from like sketch to ideation, right? And so they're not necessarily people that are buying their art. They're other artists that just love watching him do what he does. But it's a phenomenal video, this thing. I find it like mega relaxing, especially like when it gets flowing on in here with all the colors. It's totally awesome. So all of that to say, Joni, I don't really see it being like a great place to find art buyers. It's more just a utility piece of software to use and leverage to, help grow things. But, yeah, that's what I'd say. So that's a YouTube question. But okay, anybody else? Final? Norma, you look contemplative. Contemplative, is that even a word? Contemplative. I'd start losing my mind at the end of these things. It's the bright lights in my face. It could drive me crazy. But yeah, did you have a question, by the way, Norma? I might as well unmute you. Now that I've like thrown Norma under the bus, she's like, okay, well, if you're gonna poke and prod me, then at least let me ask. Go ahead, Norma.
Okay. I entered late here today, so I'm wondering if you have another one of these sessions soon.
I do. Your options are, so after this one's over, the video, the part that you missed, we'll put it in a web page and send it to you, so you can watch that. If not, these things go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So same time for all of them. So you could jump on one on Wednesday, or you could jump on one on Friday if you're so inclined.
Super. Okay, I'll be there.
Done.
Yeah, and this looks good. I need a web page, and that's what you do, right?
Yep. You need a web page, and then you need to be taught how to drive people to it. You need both.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what we do. But yeah, love to see you on another one, Norma. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right. It's good times today, I think. Oh yeah, somebody said auctions. Lindsay was asking about auctions. I understand in certain cases auctions can work well. Is Lindsay still on here? Let me see. Unmute her. I can find her. I want to get some details on what this is. Let me see if she's still here. I don't know if she is or she's not. Oh, she's gone. Anyway, Lindsay was asking, auctions, right? Auctions, in my estimation, like increase the friction of the buying process somewhat. So I'm not a huge fan of them myself. I would rather just sell direct. But you know, it all depends on like auctions. Like, is it a live video stream and multiple people are watching, and you know they go in and they bid on it? Are there no minimums? I don't know. Auctions is kind of like a loaded term. There's like so much involved in it. But yeah. If I see a bunch of people doing well with auctions, though, we'll certainly learn it and teach it. But okay, great session today, guys. Appreciate you. Good. Oh yeah. All right, Norma. Don't worry. I'm here. I got you. Oh, Veronica's got a question too, or Veronica was waving goodbye. I can't tell. Go ahead, Norma. Did you have a follow-up question, or were you waving? Yeah.
I'm having a show on the 28th and 29th of this month.
Okay.
And in my studio, and I'm wondering. I'm looking for advertisement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can you do that quickly?
Yeah, but what do you mean when you say you're looking for advertisement? Like, you want to advertise the show in the local area you're in, or you want to like bring in sponsors?
Oh.
Like, what are you saying?
Local advertising.
Local advertising. And so where do you live? Did I detect a Canadian accent in there somewhere?
No, Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Oregon. I wasn't even close. Don't tell me the accents. So, how would you normally go about advertising something in Portland?
Well, so far I'm emailing my
list,
email list.
Yeah. So.
And flyers.
Yeah, and flyers, which is probably the best way to do it. Yeah, it's sort of hard to leverage digital advertising for a show, but that's for new people. In terms of getting your attention of the existing people that you have, I would definitely use advertising because it's important, right? You know, we all think in today's day would use advertising. So, you know, the concept is we all think in today's day and age that 100% of the people we send an email to actually open it and read it. Turns out that's not the case. No.
Yeah.
So a lot of what we teach is how to, you can take your email list and upload it to Facebook. Facebook matches the email list as an audience. And what happens is that I send an email the same day I send the email. Hey, it's me, Norma. I'm having a great big show. And then I'd promptly ignore your email, and I'm on Instagram or on Facebook, and then I'm going to see you and it'll be like, hey, it's Norma. I'm having a show, right? And so instead of one touch, you get two touches. So it's a lot of what we teach. But yes, you can.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Sure.
And yes, there's plenty of time to get that going. So you totally can.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. All right, I can see my kids outside where they shouldn't be on the camera. I've got to run. Veronica, do you have a go quick? I'll unmute you. Hopefully my wife sees this. You still need to unmute, Veronica. Bottom left-hand corner, mic icon. I'll let you know when you get it. She can't find it. It's okay. I'll stick here. I just watched him. He went back under the garage, so I think we're okay. Now my 90-pound dog is outside. Some guard dog he is. Bottom left-hand corner, and it's just a microphone icon, and all you have to do is just click it once, and that should do it. I don't know what it's doing.
Try again.
Boom, there we go. Got it.
Perfect.
Got it.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
No problem.
I had a quick question for you as we go out. I wanted to know, can I sell my husband's photography?
All day. All day long.
Okay, because he just passed away, and he was a phenomenal commercial corporate and fashion photographer, but did awesome nauticals that look like paintings. And I think that they should be shared with everybody who's interested. So, okay, I just wanted to make sure that was okay for me to do.
Yeah, totally okay. Sorry for your loss. I know that sucks, but yeah, even if the husband and wife on the same website is great too. You can totally do that, and it's zero problem at all.
And I was the better speaker, though, even though he was from Brooklyn.
Well, there you go. Love it.
Okay, thank you.
Right, thank you. Okay, guys, I think we leave it there. I am going to go chase after my kids now. Thanks for a great session. Appreciate all of you guys, and hope to see you either